Hello everyone! Let's go over Vocabulary Workshop Level Green Unit 1. You can follow along at home using your own book. Let's get started! Our first word is allow. Allow is a verb. That means it's an action word. You are doing this. And it means to let do or happen. To agree. Basically, it means you are letting something happen. You are not stopping it. Let's look at the example. My parents allow me to ride my bike in good weather. So your parents are letting the bike riding happen, but only when the weather is good. A synonym would be permit. You can switch these words and they have the same meaning. My parents permit me or my parents allow me. And an antonym would be forbid or prevent. Both of these words would mean to stop. They are stopping you from doing something. Another example would be, my parents allow me to watch TV after I finish my homework. Our next word is bitter. Bitter is an adjective, so it's describing a noun. It's describing a person, place, or thing. It means sharp and unpleasant, or angry or hurt. For example, the unripe fruit tasted bitter. The word unripe means that the fruit is not ready yet to be eaten. Usually when a fruit is unripe, then we can say it tastes bitter. Another word you can use is harsh. The word harsh means like a little bit strong or sharp. And of course, the antonym would be sweet. When something is not sweet, it is bitter. Also, don't be confused by this word sharp. This is not talking about something that can cut you, such as a knife is sharp. It just means something is very strong. It has a strong taste or a strong smell, or it feels strong in some way. Here in this picture, this boy is eating some grapefruit. Grapefruit is usually a little bit bitter, and you can see his face is all scrunched up after he tasted it. So we can say the grapefruit tasted very bitter. Another thing that always tastes bitter to me is lemon. But I like the bitter taste of lemon. And of course, coffee can be bitter if you don't put any sugar in it. All of these things are bitter. Do you like bitter things or do you prefer sweet things? And another way we can use this word bitter, we can use it to mean angry or hurt. It can be your feeling. For example, you can say, I felt bitter because my parents got my brother a present, but they didn't get me anything. That would make you feel bitter, a little bit angry and maybe sad since you didn't get any toy. Have you ever felt bitter? Our next word is common. Common is an adjective, so it's describing a noun, and it means found often or very average. So it's things that we see all the time, things that are normal, things that are not strange. An example would be a cat is a common pet, right? Because a lot of people have cats as pets. They are common. A snake would not be a common pet. Not many people have snakes as pets. And some synonyms would be familiar, so something that you can see it and know it, or ordinary, which means normal. Antonyms would be unusual, so not normal, or odd. Here are some common things that you might see in a house. These are common items that you find in a house. For example, a sink and toilet are common items you find in a house. Here are some common items you would find in a classroom. For example, a backpack, eraser, notebook, tape. All of these things are common objects. I can also use common to describe things that I do every day. For example, I can say, my common breakfast is eggs and some fruit. What's your common breakfast? Our next word is faint. Faint has two meanings, so let's talk about the verb first. The verb of faint means to pass out. When you pass out, you are suddenly falling to the ground almost like you're asleep. There can be many different reasons for this happening. Let's look at the example. The hot sun made the dancer faint on stage. So in this sentence, they fainted, so they fell to the ground like they are asleep because of the hot sun. When you are too hot, it can cause your body to turn off, just like you would turn off a light, and that makes you fall down to the ground. Usually when someone faints, they wake up after a few minutes. For faint, the verb, there's no synonyms and no antonyms. Let's look at the next meaning of faint. Faint can also be used as an adjective to describe a noun. It can mean not clear or a little bit weak. For example, the writing was so faint that I had trouble reading it. So something is not clear. We can't see it well because it's too faint. Sometimes we can see faint writing on a piece of paper that's very old. It looks very light and difficult to read. Or if someone doesn't push their pencil hard enough into the paper when they're writing, we can say the writing is too faint. Some synonyms are unclear, so not easy to see, slight or faded. Faded is good to use when something is old. Antonyms include clear and strong. These are the opposite of faint. When something is clear, you can see it well. When something is strong, you can also see it well. It's not weak. This word is used a lot to talk about writing. Our next word is firm. Firm also has two meanings. The first one is a noun. In this case, it is a place. It means a business or small company. We call that a firm. For example, my mother works at a law firm. There are no synonyms or antonyms for this word. Firm can be used to describe a few different kinds of jobs. However, a law firm is definitely the most common one for this word. The other ones are a little bit difficult, so for now, let's just use it for law firm. The other way we can use the word firm is as an adjective. It means solid, steady, or strong. It means something that is not moving around a lot. It's usually hard or strong. For example, the climber kept a firm grip on the rope. So grip means how he's holding it, how he's holding this rope. He's holding it very firm or in a strong way. If he doesn't have a firm hold on the rope, then he might fall down. It has to be strong, it has to be hard. That is firm. A synonym for firm is hard, and antonyms are soft or weak. We can also describe some foods as being firm. For example, here I have some tofu. There's many different kinds, such as firm tofu. This one is hard, so you can pick it up with your hand and it doesn't fall apart. And there's some tofu that is not firm. When you try to pick it up, it will fall apart. It's very soft. We can also describe our beds as being firm. Do you like to sleep on a firm bed, or do you prefer one that is soft or medium? Our next word is force. This word has two uses, so we can use it as a noun or we can use it as a verb. First, as a noun, it means strength or power. Something has strength or something has power. For example, the force of the wind knocked over the tree. In this sentence, the thing that has force, the thing that has the strength is the wind. So our noun is force in this sentence. Here you can see in the picture, the tree is knocked over by the force of the wind. The wind was so strong that it knocked over the tree. Or I can say the force of the explosion knocked over the people. You can use this phrase, the force of blank, of something, did something, to make your own sentence. A synonym is might, which just means strength, and an antonym is weakness. We can also use force as a verb, as an action word, and it means to cause to do something by using strength or power. So the meaning is the same, we're just doing this thing. We're using the strength, we're using the power. We're not talking about something having strength or power, we're talking about using the strength or the power. For example, firefighters must sometimes force their way into a burning building. They have to use this force to go inside the building that is on fire. Or sometimes you have to force your way into a jar that's difficult to open. You have to use a lot of strength and a lot of power to open some jars. Synonyms include make or push. Make is not talking about making something new. It's talking about causing something to happen, like I made the window open by pushing it. Our next word is goal. Goal is a noun and it is a person, place, or a thing. In this case, it is a thing. It means something a person wants and works for. But there's another way we can use this word, which means the area into which players must move a ball or puck in order to score in some sports. For example, when you play soccer and you kick the ball into the net, we can call that a goal. That's the second meaning. The first meaning is just something that you really wish or want to happen, usually in the future. You are working hard to make this thing happen. For example, my goal in life is to become a scientist. It's your dream, it's the thing that you're working hard to do. Synonyms include target, aim, or plan. All of these words mean that you're working to make something happen. That is a goal. Do you have a goal for the future? Or do you have a goal for this year? Something that you want to make happen. Usually people have goals for their health. They want to be healthy. They have goals for their family. Maybe they want to have 1 or 2 or 3 children when they grow up. They have goals for their wealth, for how much money they want to make. They have goals for career, for what job they want to have. And they have goals for love, usually to get married. So, what's your goal? Our next word is patient. Patient also has 2 meanings. The first one is a noun. It's a person, place, or thing. In this case, a person. A patient is a person getting medical care. Someone who is seeing a doctor or they're in a hospital. they are called a patient. For example, the patient had to stay in the hospital. Or I can say, the patient had a broken leg. There are no synonyms or antonyms for this word patient. It's just talking about the person who is at the doctor's office or getting some kind of medicine. They are a patient. But we can also use this word patient as an adjective. It's a feeling. It means able to stay calm when faced with pain, trouble, or a long wait. Maybe you've heard this word before. Maybe someone has told you, be patient. It means you have to wait. For example, my teacher was patient as I learned the new song. In this sentence, the teacher could wait for a long time while the student was learning the song. Usually, it's not easy to be patient. It's something difficult. And it often makes people feel angry when they have to be patient for a long time, especially when they're waiting in a long line like this. Are you able to be patient when you're in a long line? Antonyms include impatient or anxious. There are no synonyms for this word. Our next word is prefer. Prefer is a verb, it's an action word, and it means to like better than others. You like something better than other things. Or to tend to choose. It means you pick something. You usually pick something over other things. For example, I prefer summer to winter. Do you prefer summer or winter? Do you like summer more than you like winter? Or you can say, which do you prefer? Which do you like more? Do you prefer cake or pie? You can use this sentence to make your own. I prefer blank to blank. Just change these words to different things that you want to talk about. However, when you use this word prefer, we usually make sure that the two things we're talking about are related. For example, summer and winter are both seasons. They're similar things, so we can talk about liking one or liking the other. But if I say, I prefer summer to cake, does that make sense? Are they similar things? They're not. So that sentence would be a little bit unusual. So when you're using the word prefer, make sure that the two things are some way similar. Our last word is trace. Trace also has two meanings. The first is a noun. It means a small amount left behind, showing that something was there. Usually something big will happen and there will be a little bit of it left. We can call that a trace. Usually we use this word with amount sometimes as well. So I can say, the air had only a trace of smoke after the fire. There was only a small amount of smoke after the fire, just like this. Or I can say, there was a trace of dust left on the table, even though I cleaned it yesterday. Another way you can use this word would be, the detective found a trace of blood on the knife. In all of these examples, we're talking about a small amount of something, and it's usually on something else. Some synonyms are mark, sign, or track. There are no antonyms for this word. But we can use trace also as a verb, an action word. Maybe you already know this one. It means to copy by following over the lines of something as seen through a sheet of paper. For example, if you want to copy a design, you can trace it. If you look at the picture, the girl is tracing the heart on the piece of paper. She's following the line of the heart with her pencil to make a new heart on the paper. People often will trace their hand on a paper to get the shape of their hand on the paper. Oh no, this is a very bad drawing of a hand. Also, when we are learning to write, we usually trace the letters before we start writing on our own. A synonym for trace would be outline. You can outline something. There are no antonyms for this word. And that's all for this video. Did you enjoy learning the words with me? Thanks for listening and see you next time. Bye!